Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and this is one of three match reviews that I'm doing today, back to back to back. So it's a lot. I watched a lot of wrestling last night. We had a Marigold, Stardom, and DDT event, which is my first time ever watching that. So that will be the one that comes up next. So let's just jump right into this. This was Stardom's New Year's dream. I almost said first dream because that's the Marigold event. And man, was it a really good show, honestly. I think the show, I think overall, once you see some of the ratings, I think slightly edged out Marigold. I just think because of the amount of talent and the amount of like it was a longer show too. They had a lot more that they jammed in here, and I think that definitely showed. So let's just jump right into the first match. It was Mina Shirakawa and Tay Mayo versus Athena and Fekla. This was a masterpiece on a lot of levels. Like I just this was should not have started the show. I mean, I think they started the show this way so they could probably pull some eyes off of Marigold. And it really did because I was super invested in watching this. It was another match going on in Marigold, and I was watching them side by side, but my eyes kept being honed in on that. I was really hoping the other match would end, and then had to see this. Obviously, Amina did great, and Feta did amazing. The two, Tay, Ty Mila. Why is that name the one that screws me up at all the names here? Um, I think it was like her first match in Stardom, or like first match back in a little bit. I didn't remember exactly what they said, but she did great, and then obviously Fekla did obviously really good, and yeah, that stole the show. It was a great match. That like that really awesome ending with the I think it's the O face that Athena hit, which is like kind of feels like a stunner or something off the top rope. I don't. That was just gorgeous. Everything about it was just perfect. I mean, I honestly cannot. I really can't say anything else about it. Obviously, this is an S tier match. I like Mina and I like Athena, so I was totally pumped for this match. So I was completely happy the way it ended. Next up, we have the five-way elimination match. I didn't realize it was elimination at first because I only saw that it was a five-way match for the high-speed champion number one contenders. I don't know that championship that much. Which we had Saka won. I didn't really know any of these wrestlers right off the bat, so I thought that was kind of cool because it was just like fresh. They absolutely went out there and destroyed. I definitely think I would have went for. I'm pretty sure. God, I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember exactly her name. The one with the blue and red hair right here was my favorite. She did some amazing stuff and did a lot of crazy flips and takedowns and stuff. I was like, I gotta check her out more once I go back and figure out her name. I think overall B match. I think it was just a solid match. You had the eliminations. I think sometimes that's better than just having a five-way match because it's very hard to like have everybody shine. But when you have it where like everybody's brawling and then eventually you're eliminating and getting more time focused on other people, I think it's always a good thing. So then we'll go next to the tag match. It was Hate versus. I don't know if the other one even have a group name. I might have missed it because the groups are still something I'm learning in Stardom. I do know Hate pretty well, so that is the one group I can like look at. I mean, obviously they're all in black most of the time, so it was definitely one of those things that make it easy. I think the match definitely made Hate look good. I mean, it made those two look way better. The other two had some good spots, but not enough that was like absolutely crazy about. I think it's also because I don't know if they have any chemistry together yet because it seemed like one of them was from a different promotion and the other one's from Stardom. I could be wrong. I don't know if the other girl works in it. So I was like, okay, but I think it was fine. I think the match in general at the moment was the worst one of the match. I mean, but being on the C and on this card that's completely stacked is not a bad thing. Then we got Chi Chi versus Aya. Aya's, I think is her name. It was for the Sensei Girls Junior Champion chip. I honestly, I'd seen Chi Chi before, so I kind of knew what I was going into. But the other person absolutely came out there and just cooked it. They made every minute of their stuff just absolutely perfect. They had some really good match chemistry of having really good backs and forths, and it was just a really good striking match, which I really didn't expect that. And Chi Chi like blew it out of the water. Like if I had to assign personal grades to each one, I would definitely put Chi Chi in S, and I put the other one in like a B area. So I think from that, I'll put it in A. I think it was still one of those matches that secretly could have like stole the show because it had a really solid fin. It was a little long in some parts. I think if they would have trimmed the match down a little bit, and I think they would have let maybe Chi Chi have a little, because it felt like the back and forth was really good, but I think they could have definitely trimmed that just a little bit down and just let Chi Chi kind of like finish out that ending a little bit sooner. And I think it would have been an S tier match. Not even, not even close, but solid A match. I think it definitely deserves in there, and Chi Chi deserves like some top marks as probably being probably one of the top 5 wrestlers this whole entire show, which is saying something because there's amazing wrestlers in here. So next up we have it was Hate versus God's Eye. I think it was all of God's Eye members. Is that Suri's group? I'm gonna struggle with these. Um, I think it was okay. I think it's one of those things. Suyuri was definitely the MVP of it. She had some really good shots. I think everything else was just a pretty solid back and forth. 6-man tag matches can always be a little bit more difficult to pull off because there's so many people. You had the sisters going against each other. I thought that was pretty cool. Momo pulling double duty because she had to work this match and then the last match, which I think just shows a lot about her. I think she would have definitely made this match better or the last match better if she would have only had to wrestle one because it's a lot of work. So I don't blame her on that one. So I'm not gonna knock her down for that. I think overall solid B match. I don't think there's anything wrong with the match. It was there. It served a purpose. It was nice. It's definitely back better than the last match for Suguri that had that stupid. I mean, it wasn't stupid because it was definitely probably an injury, but I didn't like a 10-second match, no matter what card it is. So next up was my most excited match to a certain extent because I'm a big fan of Mayu and I'm a big fan of AZM. So any match that they're facing off against each other, even if it's in a tag match, is always good. If I put their back and forth for when they were on the thing, I would give them an A, maybe almost an S tier just with their stuff. The rest of it, I think, was they were just there. I think like that was the problem with that match. There was very focused on AZM and Mayu because they have the big match that is today or tonight or whatever. And yeah, I think that was definitely shown. Mayu hitting AZM's move to finish out the match and staring at her and laughing was chef's kiss. That's how you end a match like that, where it's like a tag match. That in itself would be S tier for me if it was just you know less of the other stuff, I guess. But I think overall, solid B match. I wouldn't change a thing. It's just that's how it was because it was going to be one of those 6-man tag matches where they were going to have the other 4 people do a lot of the work because the other 2 were going to wrestle the very next day. So it makes sense. Next up, we probably have, I think, the hardest match to rate. It was weird. It was the Cosmic Angels versus one member of Hate, and then I think it was like the Alliance of something. I want to be honest, I'm not really super into. It was like Zap, Dump, and Tora. I think were the 3 that were on that side against our former champion Nats Pora, and her rest of her Cosmic Angel brethren, sister, and I guess. But overall, I don't know. I don't. The match started off weird. It really didn't hold my interest. It just I don't really have much I can say about it. It just wasn't it for me. It was a short match, but it felt like the longest match on the card. I think it's also because the ending part had a huge like that was the worst part of it. It had a huge ending like talking part at the end, and then it had the 30-minute gap before they do to like the last 3 matches. So it kind of just left a bad thing in your mouth, I guess. I would have really preferred the AZM Mayu match to be swapped. I think that might have also helped this one out because they would have not had that pressure of going on last before the break and then just having to sit there and be like, what did I just watch? I have to put it in D. Worst match of so far, and worst match that I saw that entire night. Not to spoil the DDT thing too much, but yeah, this was by far the worst match out of every match of the entire day. Out of 17, 18 matches, I think I ended up watching. So that's saying something, but it maybe could have gotten better. I don't know. I just felt kind of bad because we had the former champion there, and I think that's what they were banking on. That's what the problem with a lot of these matches I've noticed in Stardom. I don't know if it's necessarily a problem, but you basically have two super teams or like two teams going against each other, but you got one on each side that's really, really the popular one. Like kind of when you see them in there, that's the part you're glued to, and then the rest of it you just kind of just watching it. And there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but I think in this case especially that didn't save the match. So next up, we'll go to the tag match. It was Maki and Hanoka versus is it Chaicharo Chiro. I'm not gonna be able to get that one. And you, I actually seen you before in Sakuben promotion. I like that promotion a lot, and she's really good in that. So I send her. Obviously, Makia has the same kind of like Kitsune vibe that I got. So I always have a soft spot in my heart for her. And overall, I think the match was actually really good. They had some really good strength spots, and when you have opponents that are like a little bit bigger than you, sometimes one people believe they just can't move the way the other wrestlers can, and there's plenty of wrestlers that do. Just look at Ivar in WWE and stuff like that. People can just do that, and that's kind of how that other team was. Like you especially can just do some crazy movements that most other people barely can do themselves. So I think that was definitely good. I really think that it was a just really solid match. I think you and Maki Maida. I always get her name. I did a whole tier list on her like outfits, and I had her name down Pat, and then now I've just lost it. I think those two were the MVPs, one of each team. I think overall it still was a really good match. I think I'd put it in A. It was kind of a surprising match. I kind of thought, even though it was towards the end of the card, that it might not be that good, but I enjoyed myself for the entire thing. Definitely wouldn't have put it towards the S tier match. It's kind of hard to beat that Mina and Athena match to really put it up there, so I had to put it in A tier. So, second to last, but the match that I was super excited about, I did my own prediction video just on this because I wasn't going to predict the whole entire card, but I really wanted to predict this one, which was Tam versus Yuga. I always don't know her name. Career versus career. This by far probably was the best match of the night. It really just was that back and forth, and you really felt that pressure with the career versus career. That like you were on every moment, every pin. You were just with bated breath, and I think they really built that up nicely. It was a quick ending, and there was a bit of a botch on it, so I would say that's the only downside because one, I think the count was fast. I think that like from what I could tell, it was like a 2.5 count instead of a 3. And then her was it her shoulder wasn't fully down. I saw the video on it because when you first see it live, you could tell it's like weird, but like you don't really know. And then when you watch a replay of it, you're like, oh, damn. So that was the only thing I would say that was be the bad part of the match, but I think that build up the career versus career and all that just was too much for me. I have to put it in S tier. I just that build up for that match just made it all so much better, and it delivered on everything. It delivered on waiting up to watch it and losing sleep. Even though I ended up watching the DDT promotion match is after this, so I guess that's something. So I guess it just allowed me to stay up because it just filled me with that. So we'll go to the main event. This matchup was absolutely stacked. I don't know why they even put this on the card because it was like, excuse me, like this is too good. Having champion versus champion, even if it's in a tag team match, you had Suzuki and Starlight Kid versus Saya and Momo, who had her second match of the night. This was just overall stellar match. Everyone tore it up. That was the crazy thing. Like every single person made every moment of it. Again, like I said with the Momo thing earlier, I do believe if she only had one of these matches, it would have definitely turned it up a notch. Nothing against her. That's nothing on her because she had to do 2 matches and but like she definitely had to put way more work in this last one. So I think if she would have been fully fresh, I think it would have probably pushed it even further to being like the best of the night. But it was still really good. Um, this is just one of those matches. The ending was kind of surprising too. I really didn't expect Suzuki pinning the champion. I definitely was shocked about that because it was like that good back and forth, and she gets that pin off, and you really expect it's going to be a close one, and then it was over. You're just like, holy crap. So I think they really delivered on this match. I'm putting it S tier. Yeah, that's just it's such an easy S tier match because it's definitely one of those matches you have to go back and watch. Overall, I put the show at an A. I think it definitely edged out the Marigold event. Obviously the worst one was the bottom one, which was it Cosmic Angels versus the group from Hate and the Alliance, and then I personally think the TAM match was the best match. Um, I still think all of those S tier matches. Go watch. Make sure you watch the A tier matches also, especially the Chi Chi match, all good. I would recommend you watching, especially if you've not watched much Stardom or just Joshi wrestling in general. So if you liked all that, make sure you comment, like, all that stuff. Tell me if you watched the card, if you're excited for what Stardom has going on this year, because we got 2 new champions in Stardom. So I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of interesting new changes. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.